Here is the speed telly on Minecraft 1.0, and this is the fastest bridging method in Minecraft 1.18. Over the years, one of the mechanics that's changed the most is Minecraft bridging, and in today's video, I tried to do the fastest possible bridging methods on some of the oldest versions of Minecraft, all the way up till speed telling on 1.18, which was absolutely insane, so make sure you do stick around if you want to see that. Also, if you do end up enjoying the video, please do consider subscribing, because we just hit 20k and now we're on the road to the big 30k. With that being said though, let's get into it. 1.0 is the first version of Minecraft I had to test out, and I was just so unprepared for how different the mechanics really were. Most noticeably, you're not able to use hold sprint in 1.0. This means that you're not able to chain more than one telly. Technically speaking, you might be able to if you tap W twice for every time you wanted to sprint, but realistically no player has ever learned how to do it like that, and you'd have to relearn the bridge entirely. This actually is an issue that we're going to see continuing on all the way up until 1.7, but for now we're stuck with doing only one telly per version, and on top of that, that's not the only mechanical issue I found in old versions. A very flawed mechanic I found in these old versions that inconveniences bridgers to an extreme extent is when you unshift on the edge of a block, you actually fall off of it instead of just staying on the very edge like you do on newer versions. This tiny little slip off the edge caused me so many inconveniences while trying to get this video done, and makes things like god bridges and moonwalks and all that kind of stuff way harder to pull off. The best fix I found for this was really just to move yourself a little bit forward or to the side, and though this was slightly inconvenient, it was the best solution I could think of. As we can see, between versions 1.0 to 1.6, Mojang was really experimenting with a lot of unique mechanics that have since been changed and helped make bridging a lot easier in the long run. But now we've arrived at the biggest turning point in the entirety of Minecraft bridging history, and this is version 1.7. The biggest change by far in this version is the ability to hold a key to sprint instead of having to tap W twice. And unlike all the versions before this, on this one I was actually able to chain tellies, and even chain speed tellies. After 1.7 of course comes one of the most well-known Minecraft versions of all time. Now of course I'm talking about 1.8, but what exactly does make this version so significant? The real reason Minecraft 1.8 is so popular is because it's the most recent update that comes before Minecraft's big change in PvP mechanics. This is why lots of modes such as Bed Wars are played on this version, and why it's used as a spawning ground for most modern bridging methods. 1.8 is the version that I've definitely hit the most clips on by far, including some absolutely insane telly bridges and speed tellies. Mechanically, this version is really very similar to versions like 1.7 and 1.9, I just have way more playtime on 1.8 and I'm way more used to it. And when I moved on to version 1.9, I found that regardless of this being the biggest PvP change update in history, bridging remained about the same. And for a reason I can't quite place, 1.10 bridging actually felt quite a lot worse than 1.9 and all the versions before it as well. Once I got into 1.11, however, this seemed to change quickly as this version felt very smooth for bridging. I was actually able to pull off a lot of really good bridges, and as you can see from the clips on the screen, these were actually some really good tellies. 1.12 was definitely an interesting version visually because a lot of the scenery in the game was actually really nice, but the tellies themselves weren't really anything special, but that all changed in the next version. Minecraft 1.13 was the monumental ocean update to the game. This is the update that introduced shipwrecks, coral reefs, and all of that kind of stuff, and was definitely a huge update overall, so of course I bridged over the ocean. By version 1.14, I was starting to feel like everything was a bit repetitive, and I accidentally got myself into a sticky situation using some slime blocks. Okay, it wasn't an accident, but slime blocks are actually really cool to bridge with, and if you do it right, it's actually just the same as any other block. Before we move on to 1.15, I want to talk about the change that was actually made in 1.14 that affected bridging quite a bit. This is the change to the Minecraft sneak mechanic that allowed when you hit shift for your player to actually crouch down and change their hitbox. This more extreme version of shifting altered the player's aim and made things like bridging quite a bit harder. When I tried to bridge using this in 1.15, I found it was really annoying, so I used a different strategy of starting off the bridge. That way I was able to get the momentum I needed in order to telly bridge properly. After this, I moved on to version 1.16, which is arguably the biggest change to Minecraft in history. This update completely revamped the Nether version, so of course I did my telly bridges in the Nether. And you can see in this clip exactly what I mean by how extreme the shift bridging really was. And after that was version 1.17, arguably Minecraft's most irrelevant update in history. Okay, I'm kidding. Sort of. But yeah, bridging on this version was really not anything special. And now we've done it. We've reached the final version on Minecraft that I have to telly bridge on. This is the version I got by far the most clips on, aside from 1.8 of course. And I was even able to demonstrate how glitchy it is to bridge on 1.18 on some older Minecraft bridging servers. Of course we can't forget the speed tellies either, though I have to admit that speed telly bridging was almost impossible as the blocks were usually invisible on my screen, and as well as that, some visual changes to the game also made it very difficult for me to pull off. As we can see, the game has really come such a long way from version 1.0 all the way to 1.18, and as the game has progressed, so has our bridging abilities. The most interesting thing about all of this to me is that never was there a change that was intentionally made to affect bridging, yet little things over the years added up to make the game completely different for bridgers to play on. It really begs the question of what might change over this following decade, and how much will bridging change over that time as well. And with that being said, that does conclude 19 different versions of Minecraft telly bridging, and if you did enjoy, please do consider subscribing because we are on the road to 30k, but with that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.